Hello and welcome to the preview of the 1989 Formula One World Championship, brought to you by Microprose and GP2Joey. If the 1988 season was anything to go by, with the title being decided in the final race in Australia, then this year promises to be even more exciting. We've got a fantastic mix of old and new faces, new teams and engine manufacturers this year, and the turbo formula is now replaced by high-revving V8 and V10 normally aspirated engines that fill the air with a heavenly scream of power and grunt that are sure to delight Grand Prix fans the world over. It's going to be a hectic 16-race calendar this year that sees the championship open in Brazil on the 26th of March before we head to Europe and Imola for the San Marino Grand Prix. We then head to Britain for the first two races this year, with the streets of Birmingham playing host to the European Grand Prix on May the 7th before heading to Silverstone in July. Last year's race was the first time these Formula One cars were let loose on the UK's second largest city, and it was a belter, with the drivers loving the atmosphere and the challenge of the circuit itself. And this year promises to deliver more of the same. Round 4 sees the drivers tackle the most prestigious street race in the world, the Monaco Grand Prix. It's a race steeped in history, with glamour and excitement in abundance, and last year's winner Ayrton Senna will be looking to claim a second win around the Principality. June brings with it a visit to North America and a third consecutive street race for the United States Grand Prix in downtown Phoenix, the venue replacing the previous home at Detroit. Montreal is next up for round 6, and the Canadian race always delivers an exciting one, and I'm sure this year will be no different in the land of Gilles Villeneuve, whom the circuit is named after. We head back to Europe for round 7 and 8, and the fast-flowing circuits of Paul Ricard and Silverstone for the French and British Grand Prix, where some of the most enthralling racing happened last year. Who can ever forget Joey Davis's passing between the Lotus of Piquet and Nannini's Benetton around the 180-mile-an-hour Scenes corner, or Nigel Mansell's audacious pass on Ferrari teammate Gerhard Berger around the outside of Silverstone's Copse corner. Germany is round 9, and the 4-mile slipstream of Hockenheim circuit that asked more horsepower than most. Then it's over the Iron Curtain to the Hungaroring for round 10, a go-kart-like circuit that is the polar opposite of Hockenheim, in the drivers are barely able to overtake one another. Round 11, Spa-Francorchamps. What else is there to say about this majestic of all race venues we visit this year? It's a 4-mile circuit with every kind of corner that rewards bravery like no other, as drivers battle themselves to go through the corners like the daunting Eau Rouge, as close to flat out as they dare. In a somewhat surprising move, F1 will head to a chicaneless Monza for the 12th round on the 10th of September in what promises to deliver the fastest, most exciting race of the year. No chicanes, just flat-out slipstreaming like we had back in the 50s and 60s. It's going to be dangerous, exhilarating, and unlike any race in recent years. Estoril is next up for the Portuguese Grand Prix on the 13th round. It's a circuit the teams and drivers know well, and on occasion has been known to produce some memorable races. Next up, and a trip to Mexico and the bumpy Hermanos Rodriguez circuit for the 14th race, before a trip to the Far East and the renowned Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. The 5th of November sees the 16th and final race of the Grand Prix season on the streets of Adelaide. For the past 3 years, the Australian Grand Prix has been the championship deciding event, and last year's race, which saw Ayrton Senna claim his first world championship, was a classic. Will there be a repeat in 1989? Who knows? But the winter testing is now complete, and the stage is set for the season to begin. So let's take a look at the teams and drivers gearing up for another year of intense and exciting racing. Reigning world champion Brazilian Ayrton Senna will be carrying the prestigious number 1 on his car for the first time in his career for the defending champions McLaren-Honda, whilst his French teammate and former 3-time champion Alain Prost will be in the number 2 car. Winter testing has seen the team dominate at every circuit they've visited, and Honda's all-new V10 engine has proved very reliable. The signs are that the 1989 season could be a repeat of last year, when the team won 14 of the 16 races, and they remain the hot favourites. Tyrrell have opted to stay with the Cosworth engines for this year and are hopeful of scoring a point or two. Having been released from his contract with Benetton, Britain's youngest rookie, Johnny Herbert, was handed a lifeline by the team after his appalling crash in a Formula 3000 race last year at Brands Hatch, which seemingly finished his racing career, and he's going to pilot the number 3 car. Bringing some solid experience, Italian Michele Alboreto is in the number 4 car, and whilst lap times over the winter hardly set the world alight, the team are in a good position to be in amongst the midfield battle. Williams endured a torrid 1988, and with new engine partner Renault now on board, the team have impressed in winter testing and should be regular podium contenders if they can get their reliability issues sorted out. Are they capable of winning a race or two? It's possible, and in Joey Davis, Britain's young hope, They have a driver willing to take the fight to McLaren and Honda. He lines up in the 5 car, whilst the Italian Riccardo Patrese will line up in the number 6. This year sees a return for the Brabham team. Having missed the 1988 season, this prestigious name is back in Grand Prix racing. Martin Brundle, having lost his drive at the Williams team, is going to pilot the number 7 car, and the Brazilian rookie Stefano Modena is going to line up in the 8 car. It's been an uneventful winter test program for the Brabham team, but the signs are that the car is good, it's stable, and with a Judd engine they're going to have reliability, so the hope is that they can get out of pre-qualifying. It's no change at Arrows as the team continue with their partnering of Derek Warwick and Eddie Cheever in the 9 car and the number 10. What is new is the Ilmore engine, which has produced some decent lap times for the team in winter testing, and the hope is that they will be at the front of the midfield running teams. Having lost the Honda engines for this season, Lotus are now going to be powered by Judd, with Nelson Piquet in the number 11 car and Satoru Nakajima in the 12. It's been a wretched winter testing program for the team from Hemel, after Nelson Piquet's horrendous 160 mile an hour crash on the morning of the 3rd day of final winter testing at Rio de Janeiro. The March team have now become Leighton House, still powered by the Judd engines, but replacing Joey Davis in the number 15 car is the rookie, another Brazilian, Maurizio Gugelmin, with Ivan Capelli, the popular Italian, remaining in the number 16 car. Winter testing has been relatively unproductive for the team, but the hope is that they will still be in the midfield this season. For perennial back Marcus Osella, they're going to be powered with the Cosworth DFR engines, with Nicola Larini, the Italian, in the number 17 car, and Piercarlo Ginzani in the 18. The hope is that they will get out of pre-qualifying a few times this season, but there's not much in winter testing to suggest that there's going to be many points finishing this year for the Italian outfit. Benetton will be hoping the all-new V8 from Ford will produce enough power to get the team into the battle with Williams once again, and winter testing has shown flashes of promise. Italian Alessandro Nannini lines up in the 19 car, and after a strong performance in 1988, new boss Flavio Briatore is confident Nannini will be on the podium a fair few times this year. Belgium's Thierry Boutsen is lucky to still be in the team, having been initially dropped last year in favour of Johnny Herbert, who was signed before his awful Formula 3000 accident. But now, given a lifeline, Boutsen will be in the 20 car, and he has a point or two to prove if he wants to keep his seat beyond this season. For BMS Dallara, the winter period has been by and large a disaster, and a season beckons of trying to get out of pre-qualifying, and perhaps the occasional race start for the Italian pair Alex Caffi and Andrea De Cesaris, who will be in the 21 and 22 cars respectively. At Minardi, hopes remain that winter testing form will be carried through into the season proper, and with Pierluigi Martini in the 23, the team have a decent driver capable of mixing it with the best of the midfield. Luis Perez Sala will run the 24, but expectations are low for the Spaniard. For French national team Ligier, winter test form has been poor, and the chances are that the team will be back of the midfield at best. In the 25 car, René Arnoux is a driver who is sadly a shadow of his former self, and the French rookie Olivier Briard in the 26 is known to be an erratic driver at the best of times. 1989 does not bode well for the team. Ferrari will be hoping to continue their improvement towards the end of last year. Now heading into the second of a 3-year deal, Nigel Mansell is a proven winner, and the British favourite will be hoping his 27 car is able to finally deliver him a first world title. Austrian teammate Gerhard Berger is a fast previous race winner, and he will be hoping for a similar performance in the 28 car. For their fervent tifosi, hopes are the prancing horse will have closed the gap to McLaren and be on the hunt for a first title since Jody Scheckter in 1979. There have been reliability issues for the team over the winter, but the all-new semi-automatic gearbox could, once ironed out, be a significant contributor to the team taking the fight to defending champions Ayrton Senna and McLaren-Honda. Gerard Larousse is confident his team have landed a good engine deal with the Lamborghini power plant, and for drivers Yannick Dalmas and Philippe Alliot in the 29 and 30 cars, hopes are that they will be able to score the odd point. Realistically, the winter has shown the total opposite in terms of pace, but the reliability has been strong, with the team completing the second most amount of laps, and if their nearest rivals continue their own poor reliability into the season, perhaps a point or two is on the cards for the little French team. Italian team Coloni accounted for themselves reasonably well in 1988, and in Brazilian Roberto Moreno in the number 31 car, they have a driver capable of dragging the team out of pre-qualifying alone. His chances may well be scuppered by being partnered by Pierre-Henri Raffanel in the 32, who has regularly proved to be short on talent, yet brimming with sponsorship dollars, and with getting a chance to qualify for the races proper being determined by the aggregate of both teams' drivers in pre-qualifying, Raffinel may well cost the team dearly. Europe Run started well last year but quickly lost their way and struggled to get out of pre-qualifying, and hopes are that debutant Swiss driver Greg Foytek and the popular Oscar Ferrari will be able to replicate their early 1988 form and qualify for the odd race. Winter testing has been low-key, with the team largely concentrating on extracting car performance, so expectations are not very high for the start of this year. With the move to aspirated engines for this year, the German Zack-Speed team have abandoned their own concept and elected to use Yamaha power in a bid to turn around their disastrous form from last year. And whilst Bernd Schneider is kept on, Christian Danner has been replaced with a Japanese driver, Yuri Suzuki. Winter testing hasn't seen much from the team, but there remains hope that a few decent finishes are on the cards this year. Newcomers Onyx bring with them a flamboyant team sponsor and hopes of a decent first year in Formula One. With former McLaren and Ferrari man, the Swede Stefan Johansen, partnering the rookie Frenchman Bertrand Gachot, the team have a decent blend of experience and youth that could see them climb out of pre-qualifying on occasion and contend for a starting grid place or two this year. Winter testing has proven them to be a reliable outfit so far, and Johansen has told many journalists he's quietly confident of a decent year. Rio impressed towards the end of last year, and the small German team plan to continue that form into the 1989 season. On board are Germans Christian Danner and Volker Weidler, but winter testing hasn't been good for the team as they've suffered with several car failures which have reduced the amount of track time. It could be a tough year for them. It's a similar story for the AGS team, who are still reeling from the agonising crash that saw Philippe Streff suffer life-changing injuries early in January in a private test session. Joe Winkelhock has been kept on to replace Streff alongside Italian Gabriele Tarquini, but the team will be right in the thick of the pre-qualifying battles this year, that's for sure. It's going to be a year of intrigue, excitement and fantastic racing, and we hope you're looking forward to it as much as we are. As ever, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Rio for the first round of the 1989 Formula One World Championship.